What makes someone look into another human's eyes and feel absolutely nothing? No empathy, no guilt. Just a calm, cold emptiness. That's the question that has haunted psychologists, detectives, and even ordinary people for decades. What truly goes on inside the mind of a killer? This isn't about the crimes we've heard on the news. It's about the psychology, the thought process of those who can destroy lives and then walk away as if nothing happened. Tonight, we're diving deep into that darkness. Every monster begins somewhere. No one is born with blood on their hands. But what if the foundation, the childhood, the environment, is already cracked? Many of America's most notorious killers shared one thing: broken beginnings. Ted Bundy grew up believing his mother was his sister. Jeffrey Dahmer spent his teenage years surrounded by death, isolation, and a craving for control. Ed Kemper was humiliated by his mother, forced to sleep in the basement, surrounded by rejection and anger. These aren't excuses, they're clues. Psychologists call it the fractured empathy stage. When a child begins to see the world as something cold and detached, they don't cry when animals die. They don't feel fear when others do. And slowly the boundary between life and death, love and hate, begins to blur. But the scariest part? Most of them don't stand out. They blend in perfectly. The neighbor who mows your lawn, the coworker who makes everyone laugh, the friend who seems too normal to ever be dangerous. That's because killers wear masks. Not the kind you can see, but the kind built from charm, intelligence, and mimicry. Ted Bundy smiled his way through interviews, manipulating everyone who came near him. John Wayne Gacy threw parties for children, hiding his victims beneath the floorboards. They learn early how to perform humanity. They study emotions like lines in a script, how to laugh, when to show concern, when to look sad. But inside, there's only calculation. Everything they do is rehearsed. Every word, every gesture, every tear, perfectly placed to make you believe they're just like you. Then the mask slips. The fantasy takes control. For some, it's about dominance. For others, curiosity. Dahmer once said he didn't kill because he wanted to hurt. He killed because he wanted people to stay. He couldn't stand the thought of being alone. In his twisted logic, death became a way to preserve love. It's horrifying, yet revealing. Many killers aren't driven by rage, but by an emptiness so deep that killing feels like the only way to fill it. When the act begins, something terrifying happens inside their brains. MRI studies show that the regions responsible for empathy and guilt go silent. No fear, no panic, no hesitation. Just focus. The victim becomes an object, a project, a piece of a fantasy finally realized. Afterward, most return to their routine as if nothing happened. They'll have dinner, chat with friends, go to work. Their control, their normalcy is part of the addiction. It's proof that they can hide their darkness in plain sight. But beneath that calm, the urge builds again. Stronger, louder, until it consumes them. When they're finally caught, they often seem detached, almost bored. Some even confess with pride, describing every detail as if they were recounting a movie they directed. But behind those calm words lies something chilling, the realization that they never saw their victims as human. Psychologists have spent years studying them, dissecting their brains, their histories, their behavior. And yet, one question remains unanswered. Are killers born or made? Is there a point where a person simply snaps? Or is the monster always there, waiting for the right moment to surface? Maybe that's why these stories disturb us so deeply. Because when we listen closely, when we look beyond the horror, we see something familiar, emotions we all feel. Just twisted beyond recognition, loneliness, rejection, pain. The difference is, most of us learn to heal. They learn to kill. So next time you see someone smiling a little too perfectly, remember, the darkest minds rarely look the part. Evil doesn't always scream, sometimes it whispers. And that's the true horror of America's most notorious killers. Not the blood they spilled, but the cold, calm humanity they hid behind. Because in the end, the darkness we fear most isn't out there. It's the darkness we could all carry inside, if we ever stopped feeling.